Good evening. Today's Monday, February 8th. S&P 500 traded in a narrow 10-point range for most of the day after gapping up overnight yet again and closed on the new highs after breaking at the end of the day 3,900 number. It made new highs of 3909 and 3911 after hours. Nasdaq also made new highs, as well as Russell, which again outperformed today. It was the leader again today, up 2.6%. It's up 10% in 6 days. Today, everything was up. Oil was up 2%. Gold was up over 1%. Silver up 1.75%. Bonds were up. Even volatility was up a little, over 1.75%. And of course, the winner was Bitcoin today. It was up 15%, closing over 44,000, well, trading over 44,000. It never closes. On Elon Musk's tweet that he has purchased $1.5 billion of Bitcoin for Tesla. And he also keeps tweeting about that joke cryptocurrency Doge, which has begun as a joke in 2013. And now this joke is valued over $6 billion. And in general, just there are over 8,000 cryptocurrencies, and the number seems to grow a lot. So people keep saying that unlike the dollar, the supply of cryptocurrency is limited, yet the number of cryptocurrencies is not. And so Musk also said that he wants to eventually price his cars in Bitcoin. So let's say the Model X would be 2 Bitcoins, but does he mean that the price is going to be stable in Bitcoins or fluctuate based on the dollar, which then he's not really pricing his cars in Bitcoin. But if he prices the cars in Bitcoin and makes it a firm price and Bitcoin crashes, he would have to adjust, or if Bitcoin goes up too high, nobody's going to pay in Bitcoin. So it seems like it's one of those catch-22s where everybody wants Bitcoin to be independent of the dollar, yet it seems to be inextricably linked to the dollar. And nobody cares about Bitcoin unless you tell them how much it costs in USD. Why is that? I don't know, but it seems that one of those peculiar things to me. Now everybody is saying that more corporations would buy Bitcoin. And so if most of the corporations and wealthy individuals buy Bitcoin, they will all own it. And so how is that going to be different when most of the people don't have dollars, don't have Bitcoins? It's not going to matter for most of the people. But anyway, my point is that the adoption of Bitcoin is going very, very slow, especially if you compare to the price appreciation. Victor?
We're in a new era. Everything is up. Old Turkey's remark to Jesse Livermore carries the day. It's a bull market. Stop trying to finick around. Stop trying to be ephemeral. And everything is up. There's a lot of wealth around. And Janet Yellen is bringing up the bull case. She says we need a stimulus. I don't know why with employment being so great, and I wouldn't pay any attention to the employment numbers this month. There are so many adjustments, seasonal adjustments based upon how the restaurant workers have gone back to work and last year's numbers in it. The only thing that I look at in the employment numbers is the unemployment rate, because they apply the same seasonal adjustment to the numerator and the denominator. I think we can learn something from today's markets. We're in a new firmament. Everybody, it's in ecology they call it a new habitat. You know, there's so much feed around, and it's so easy to get the feed. You'd have to be really self-destructive to try to stand in the way of this. Usually it's on the other side. It keeps going down and down, and people say, we're in a bear market and it's more selling and more selling, but you have to realize that the bull markets can go up just as much as the bear markets go down. You have so many things that are going up. You had crude up six days in a row, four new highs and 4 11-month highs in a row. The stock market up 6 days in a row, three all-time highs in a row. NASDAQ is an all-time high. Gold's been up $40 in the last 2 days. I spent some time over the weekend looking into something that we've talked about, prop bets on the stock market. Those are actually, they're more interesting to me than the options on the VIX and on the market, because they either pay off 100% or you lose 100%. And the prop bets on the Super Bowl. So here are some of the prop bets. Was was the game tied after 0-0? You had a even money bet on that. The answer is no. Was the largest lead under 14 points? No. Will Kansas City or Tampa Bay score three straight times? Yes. Will there be an overtime? You would have got 8-1 on that. No. Total points scored between 51 and 55. Get 6-1 on that. Brady to score the first touchdown. Yes, he did it. Shortest touchdown under 1.5 yards. It's possible to do all these prop bets in the stock market. The London bookies will take bets on any one of these props. And the Chicago Board of Options Exchange tried to list some binary options, which would allow you to bet on whether the market was going to be up or down, get 100% or lose 0%. That can't be manipulated by the market makers. They can't margin you out on that because you put up the same amount of money as the maximum that you can lose. There's been a lot of talk about the impartial, unbiased CM regulatory clearing agencies. And the depository trust company supposedly made a $3 billion margin call on GameStop,
Right.
on Robinhood, and that's their excuse for banning buying. And I've been exposed to that before. You have a position and all of a sudden the margin doubles. And guess what? The people who are on the margin committee are the same people that have the other side of your trades. So I would ask how unbiased the clearing, the board of directors and the handful of interested parties who set the margins. There seems to be a lot of effort, concentration on trivial things, like a lot of the R's are trying to fine Nancy Pelosi $5,000 for coming You'd think they would have some more important things to do than finding her $5,000 when her net worth is in hundreds of millions, including her husband's. Anyway, after 6 up days in a row in the stock market and Europe not doing quite as well as Europe is bringing up the rear. The Nikkei at 29,500. That's awfully close to the constructal number of 30,000. So I wouldn't be surprised that that's 500 over 30,000. It's only 2% away. I wouldn't think we have more than 2%. I think when that happens, there'll be a rethinking. Everybody will get adjusted. I couldn't resist doing a little shorting at the close today.
Wow.
My shorting is always at 2% of the level that I buy. I've never found a systematic method of making money on the short side, and I've seen countless smart people give me all the reasons why they're bearish on a long-term basis. And eventually, with a 50,000-fold drift a century, you certainly have a bad bet when you're shorting. But I couldn't resist doing a little shorting at the close at the 39.11 level. Everything's woke, which is very bullish. And we're in I think also a lesson to learn today, the market was quite contracted and low range of 38.85 to 38.95 the whole day. And one says, well, how does that help create VIG? How does the infrastructure make some extra money from the weak people? And you have to watch out for a day like that, because the purpose of the market, one of the main purposes, is for the infrastructure, the members, and the top feeders, the large banks, to make money at the expense of the small people. And one of the ways they make money is when the undercapitalized get forced out of their position. So anybody who was trying to play it with it as a range day, well, that worked until 3:45, until 15 minutes before the close.
Right.
So you have to be very careful when it looks like there's easy money to be made and the strong close. It reminds one of in basketball, there's certain teams that are well known for their strong close. In bicycle racing, in the old time bicycle racing, you can see the bicyclists going around an oval track 10 times at the same, all bunched together, and then all of a sudden someone pulls out to the close. That's what happened today. Well, should be exciting day tomorrow because it wasn't until the close that we really had any excitement. It was straight up for 6 days in a row. Everything's up. Grains are up. Everything's up except the European, the German stock market. And that's what I don't like, that we got way ahead of the European market. All right.
Well,
Thanks a lot.
thank you. Just a small fun tidbit. Michael J. Burry, the ones who is the Big Short hero, was tweeting today that he thinks the market is in a blow-off top, and not just the market. He said the blow-off top in all things. That includes Bitcoin, and he's notoriously short Tesla, and has been short Tesla since I think last November or December or something like that. So quite a few hundred points probably back. And he also said that Tesla and Bitcoin correlation right now over the last 6 months is 0.95. So it's interesting that Bitcoin and Tesla are moving so closely, and maybe it's just both represent the risk assets and both revert or move together, especially because Musk is constantly pumping Bitcoin.
Well, one hopes that he understands collinearity and that when he's computing the correlation, he looks at changes. Obviously, if you look at the levels, there's going to be a 95% correlation because they both were very low and now they're very high. And when they're high, when one is high, then it's above the mean and the other is above the mean. So it's about, you should never compute correlations on levels, but
Mhm.
I think much more important than that are the insights that you gain from ecology. And we have all of the predators moving to like virgin fields, and it's a bull market. Trying to go against that will destroy one.
Right. And you have mentioned that Japanese markets have reached the level, and if it crosses it, it will finally break through the curtain, or the iron curtain, as they call it, because the Japanese market hasn't been able to be in a bull market, I guess, for, I forgot what, a decade or even longer. And so do you think this time is going to be different and the Japanese markets will finally be able to break through? Or is
Yes.
it?
I think that there's a gravitational pull from all the constructal numbers and the tendency to go up. I was looking over the weekend at the relation between profits and stock prices. The normal way to quantify that is what they call the PEG ratio, price earnings ratio, divided by the percentage growth rate. So if the price rate earnings ratio is 20 and the growth rate is 40, and that has a PEG of 1/2. I haven't, I looked at all the studies on SSRN, momentum in stocks. There are hundreds of studies, not one of them is updated past 2018. Would be interesting. I mean, how many years in a row can the NASDAQ do better than the S&P? Anyway, it'd be interesting to quantify some of the things that we've talked about, like how long can the stocks that are going up the most continue to perform better?
Right.
It would apply to Bitcoin. The move in Bitcoin reminds me of the move in gold when I started out. It was about 250, went straight up to 1,000. We had a very good heads up from Andy Aiken 3 weeks ago. I would recommend that all our readers go back and look at our blog where we interviewed Andy Aiken. He's a very smart guy, very smart. And
He was up early there saying that Ethereum would outperform Bitcoin significantly, and he was right on that.
would have been a great time to buy Ethereum.
Indeed.
Victoria has been buying cryptocurrencies. So thank you very much, Mrs. Sennett. Goodbye. We'll
Thank you.
reconvene tomorrow.
Thanks. Good night.